Welcome back to some new r/PettyRevenge stories, where people share small victories over those who wronged them. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Not Your Reference. Decades ago, I was the assistant manager of a clothing store. I opened and closed, as well as supervised other employees when the manager was absent. One of the employees, Lil, was extremely lazy. She would practically trip over clothes, yet not pick them up, stand around gossiping instead of serving clients, and generally be dead weight on the team. I would constantly have to ask her to do basic things. Can you please put away the returns? Put out stock? Go serve that customer? Fast forward a few years. Now I work for a lending company for a much better wage. As a member of a small, extremely busy team, the manager approaches me one day with a resume. Lo and behold, it was for Lazy Lil, looking to be a member of the team. What do I think? Should we interview her? She put you down as a reference. I proceeded to relay exactly why not. Small revenge, but satisfying. The next story is called Paying It Forward. This happened early last week. Things at work had been going really well recently. And in my latest review, I was given a bonus. So I decided to pay it forward while I visited my local cafe and pay for the order of the people behind me in line. There were 3 people behind me. The cashier steps aside for a moment, just as a woman walks in and jumps to the head of the queue, completely ignoring all of us. I say to her, "Excuse me, you missed the line." She looked at me as if I slapped her and said, "My car is running, I'm working, I have to go first." I'm very non-confrontational, so I just roll my eyes and leave it. She pays for her order and stands to the side, waiting for her drink. That's when I remembered that I was going to pay it forward. As I got to the cashier, I loudly said, "I'd like to pay it forward and get everyone's drinks." I looked over at the lady and emphasized my last words. "Who is behind me in line?" She went very red in the face, but said nothing as I stood by the register and tapped my card for each person in line. The best thing was that the cashier seemed to have known she jumped the queue, because the woman's drink came out at the same time as the people who had been at the back of the line. The third story is called Pizza Money. I once delivered pizza to this guy, and we met at a gas station. He was outside of the delivery zone. When I got back to my car and counted the money, he was short $7. I called him, and he told me that he misunderstood the price over the phone, and he'd run to his house and return with the money and a nice tip. He said it would take 5 minutes. 15 minutes goes by, and I call him again. No answer. I go back to the shop and call him once from my phone and once from the shop phone. No answer. I left him a voicemail and told him he was $7 short and would need to call in with a credit card if he couldn't find his wallet. Since I was pretty upset that the dude lied, I saved his number in my phone. Now, when me and my buddies are drinking, I'll give him a call. He won't answer, and I'll leave him a message, asking him if he's got the money yet. The next story is called Got Her Position. A few years ago, I decided to switch careers and took the proposal of my brother to work for one of his friends in an organic grocery store in my area. I was 22-ish at the time. I started working in the fruits and vegetables aisle. Despite having a crazy director, I liked my job and my department manager. After a few months, I got the title of third key, which is basically I'm the assistant manager when the assistant is gone. Then they decided to hire a new customer service manager, Linda. That woman was crazy. While I was 23 at the time, she was only 20, acting like she owned the world. In the span of 8 months, she got 11 employees fired for stupid reasons. And since our director at the time was just as crazy, it was easy for her to get her way. She took it too far when she tried to mess with me. We had a huge special on lemons, and sometimes those fruits can get rotten, and you don't notice it, because there's no smell. The only way you'd know is by going through the several small boxes of like 10ish lemons, and look at them all one by one, which I did regularly, but I'm not a robot. Sometimes some of them slipped out of my eyes. I was leaving the back store with more boxes, when I saw Linda with a customer that seemed more than upset. So I go see both of them, because she has a lemon box and I work in the fruit department. So it's kind of my job to help, if I can. That's when I asked her, "Hey Linda, do you need help with the lemons?" And right away she told me, "Screw off, I don't need your help. I already spoke to your manager. Go do your job for once." I was shocked as I went to my department. Even the upset customer did a bombastic side-eye. A few minutes later, I go back to the back store to fulfill the missing products, and my manager pulls me aside. "Stay out of Linda's business. I can't protect you all the time for talking back." I stopped him right away, asking what he means, cause as soon as she told me to screw off, I did. He looked at me surprised and said he'd come back to me with it, but only tomorrow, because he's finishing his shift. And for some personal reason, he can stay longer to solve the issue. Since Linda was the manager on guard that night, he told me to stay in the back as much as possible, to stay in her good graces. That's what I did. 1 hour after my manager left, I heard my name being called to the front office, shared by the customer service manager and director. I go in the front, and all of my colleagues are looking at me like I'm on my last walk. I know my laws and my rights. I might be young, but as soon as I got called, I started reciting in my head the main laws and rights she has to respect. I open the door's office, and Linda is fuming, and she is alone. She asks me to close the door, and I tell her, "No, it is my right to have someone in the room with us for this talk. I am not comfortable being alone with you." She starts freaking out and starts to speak louder, on the verge of screaming. "Linda, this room is recorded 24/7, and the customers can hear you talking to me like that. Lower your tone and find a witness to be in the room, or I'll go back to work." She stands up to look outside the office, and sees that indeed there's a line in front of the cash counter. Looking at the office's direction, she takes a few deep breaths and calls Gabrielle, who takes care of the finances of the store, so she can be a witness. From the moment Gab got into the room, she seemed like she wanted to get away, and so did I. Gab took a seat in the back, and Linda started her whole speech. This took almost an hour. "You know why I brought you here, right?" "Not really. I've been in the back store, minding my business." "Why?" "Well, you disrespected my authority in front of a customer, and that's a big no-no for the company." "For the company or for you? This is not the topic. You shouldn't be disrespecting authority in front of customers. It makes the managers look bad. I was honestly just trying to help, because you had a box of products from my department. I just wanted to help because the customer looked upset, and I didn't want him to ruin your fragile mood." "My fragile mood? Are you serious?" "Linda, we are being recorded, and we have a witness. I am asking you to stay polite and not scream, or I will file a complaint against you." "Are you threatening me?" "No, I'm stating my rights and making you aware of where your attitude will lead you. I won't accept being talked like that by someone that ain't even my manager. Let me remind you where your position stands in this business." She started to draw a triangle, put her name at the tippity top and mine at the bottom. I didn't even let her finish what she had to say. I stormed out of the office, went into the employees' lockers, took my stuff and headed out. Linda ran after me, yelling, "You can't leave like that. You're still scheduled for the close." I stopped on my steps, making Linda almost run into me, and said with the most blank expression I could have, "Linda, you crossed the line, and since you are so good at your job, close my department for me. I will be filing a complaint against you." And with that, I left the workplace. Next morning, I came to work as usual and had to see my manager and the director. I explained the whole situation and showed the papers I was about to send to file a complaint against Linda. She didn't even throw her pyramid in the trash. It was still on display when the director came into work and asked me what it was. I asked her to look at the cameras, put the sound on and listen to the whole meeting. We watched it to my director's horror. Linda came into work in the middle of our screening time. She came into the office and turned white as a ghost. "What are you doing?" The director asked Linda to sit down, and we watched the video again. It took us 1 full hour to watch, because she was on a never-ending power trip. She used to be smart when she was bullying and making stories about past employees, doing it far from the cameras, and usually using the other office that doesn't have cameras or a microphone. But she wasn't with me. I guess she got comfortable, or whatever. My director said I could go back to work with my manager, that she would take care of the rest. 2 weeks later, Linda still had her job, but our director resigned from her job right away, which was very weird. We got a new director. She was a total sweetheart, and she noticed Linda's crazy power trips right away. She decided to launch an internal investigation, but sadly, all the employees Linda bullied were fired. It was only me and my little complaint waiting to be served, when Nancy, our new director, came to me asking if I knew anything about Linda. I gave her the file, the timestamps of the videotape, all the employees she fired for stupid reasons with the old director, and also phone numbers of those employees. Flash forward 2 weeks later. Linda left work earlier, bawling her eyes out, yelling how Nancy didn't deserve her job, how she always came in earlier, put in the work, and yada yada. Nancy waited a few more days before asking me to come into the office. She offered me Linda's old job. I ended up accepting the position, and all my coworkers cheered for my raise. A few months later, Linda came back to the store as a customer. The look she had on her face when she saw me at the register with the manager's uniform was priceless. It was even more priceless when she asked me when I got the promotion, and I told her the exact date, which matched her departure. "So you got my position when I left?" I just nodded. The last story is called "Wouldn't Fix It." About 3 weeks ago, I ordered a dress online through an Instagram page. I received the dress and really liked it. However, they didn't send it in my size. It was about 3 sizes down from my size. I texted the page immediately after finding out it was smaller than what I ordered. They said that they only take returns when the item is checked in front of the delivery man, so that if any fault is found with the product, the delivery man can return it to the seller. And they really can't do much if the delivery man already left the place. In my apartment complex, delivery men are not allowed in the building due to some recent crimes in my area, so I couldn't check the parcel right when I received it. I told them that, and they responded that they would initiate an exchange and just need a couple of days. Days go by and I text them several times over the course of 3 weeks. I constantly text them and they don't reply. I called them on the number they provided, but it was invalid. And even when I did manage to get another number, they hung up on me when I told them about my issue. I realized they were not going to exchange it, as it doesn't benefit them in any way, and rather raises their resources. But I wasn't the one to let my money go to waste. Plus, I liked the quality of the dress. I devised a plan. My plan was to place an order again for the exact same dress, and this time I'll exchange the 2 dresses and just tell the delivery man that the dress didn't fit and return the smaller dress. My plan was almost perfect, but there was still a possibility that they might mess up again. Also, it was cash on delivery, so I wouldn't lose money this way, since I was not going to keep the dress. I placed another order through their Instagram page with my other account, but this time I used the address of my neighboring building and used my other number. I placed the order with my size. There was a big chance that they might mess up and give me the wrong size again, but I just had to take a chance. They confirmed my order. When the delivery man arrived, I told him to wait downstairs till I tried it on. I exchanged the dresses and told the delivery man that they had sent me the wrong size and I'd like to return that. My plan worked and I got the dress in my size. I blocked them from both my accounts and unsent any personal information I sent them in DMs. I'm low-key proud of it. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.